How's it rockin', Dween Nation? This is the Dween Sports Podcast. We're about to get underway. But before we do, we'd love if you could like, comment, subscribe, or share. We are posting weekly sports content, and we want to build up the brand that is Dween Sports. Thank you all, and enjoy.
Welcome in, Dween Nation. This is your host, Justin Pius, alongside Genoa Agudelo. And we've discussed a lot of the NFL. Wildcard weekend was wonderful and exciting. But also, we had college football that was crazy on Thursday and Friday. We had Notre Dame pull off the victory in a close game against Penn State Nittany Lions. Then the next day, we had OSU, the Ohio State Buckeyes, pull off the victory over the Texas Longhorns. And that sets us up for Ohio State and Notre Dame. Two teams that were not bye-week teams. I don't think many teams projected it to be this way. We have a Big Ten versus an independent. Obviously, there's an opportunity for a Big Ten team. My goodness, to win a championship. Last year we had Michigan. This year we got Ohio State in the chip. But what a weekend of football it was, or at least back half of the week. But I'm excited to dive into this game and how the last two games shaped out to shape up this game. But before we do, how you doing, Genoa?
Yo, Dween Nation, Justin, I'm doing good. Not too good. I am a Longhorns fan. It was a little bit of a tough pill to swallow Friday night. I felt that we had it. We played good enough to win that game. We were in a home state in front of a home crowd, and we kind of blew it there. But I guess you look towards the future. It is now officially the Arch Manning era.
Yeah.
I still am very upset at Sarkisian there because I don't understand why you don't run Arch at the 1 yard line to tie the game, but that's okay. That's fine. I don't understand why you do a pitch to the outside when you got Justin, the best defense in the red zone in front of you, but it's okay. I'm doing good. It's going to be a great national championship there, and I'm ready to break it down.
Yeah, I think Notre Dame matches up better against Ohio State than Penn State does, if you look at it that way. But with how the semifinals played out, OSU, it was a close game. I was personally expecting more of a rout by OSU. I thought they were going to dominate this game. I didn't expect Texas to stay in it. And Texas was very close. A fumble away on that last play from it. I mean, they were almost in space to tie the game. But obviously, a fumble for a touchdown totally ended it. And going forward with Texas, real quickly, they should be excited. Longhorns fans should be excited. I know you lost, but you get rid of Quinn, who he's been a solid guy, and he's going to the draft. But you get Manning, the 5-star, the guy that everybody's talking about, and he's looked good in his opportunities. So I would be super excited if I'm a Longhorn, which I'm not. I'm sorry, I'm an Aggie if you can see that. But and then as for the Nittany Lions, they get Drew Aller back. I think they lose Singleton to the draft, but I still think that they're going to be a very competitive team. And I think what we're seeing, as long as nothing changes with the CFP bracket of 12 teams and order like that, I think Penn State has a really great opportunity to do the exact same thing they did this year. They probably won't win the Big Ten, but they can sneak their way through playing lesser teams. I think that this kind of formula, I hope it changes with the CFP committee, change something along the lines with this bracket. But the way it is going next season, I think Penn State is still in a really good spot, as is Texas. And then let's finally really focus on this championship game. Riley Leonard versus Will Howard, two transfer quarterbacks get to go off against each other. Two really solid defenses go off against each other. But what's going to be the X factor in this game? And it's going to be Jeremiah Smith, of course, and Love. I'm forgetting his first name. Isn't it Jeremiah Love?
You might love you.
Jeremiah versus Jeremiah. Those are the big players in this game. Love, even though he was playing a little injured, he did have that really sick hurdle against against Penn State. But he is, as long as he comes in and has a big game, Notre Dame has a really good shot. As you look at the Ohio State Buckeyes, Jeremiah Smith, who's been phenomenal. You got Emeka Egbuka as well. I think the wide receiver game, if they're able to get open, get in space, and score some big touchdowns, Ohio State is going to be in firm control of this game. And so I think with that, though, even though he's a freshman, I think that they just have more juice on offense. And Notre Dame, I know they won that game, but it was really close. It could have gone either way. Penn State made that critical mistake with Aller's interception. But I think Ohio State has the advantage this week, next week on Monday night. But what are your thoughts of this game?
Yeah, Justin. I mean, look, I don't know where to start. There's a lot of layers to this national championship because Notre Dame and Ohio State do have some history there. They have played each other more recently. I think they played the 23 season. I think that was the game being followed by Ryan Day. He was very passionate. He was saying, it's Ohio versus the world. It'll always be Ohio versus the world. He was very passionate. And now they meet each other again. I think the coaching matchup is very interesting there with Freeman going against Ryan Day. These are now the younger head coaches now, and Ryan Day, he's searching for that title. I mean, he did make the national championship there in 2020, losing to Alabama, led by Mac Jones, and it was Devontae Smith's Heisman year, and Justin Fields struggled in that game. I think it was a 52-24 blowout victory in that game. And now Ryan Day has another chance to win himself a national championship. I mean, Ohio State, the rich history of Ohio State, how they've pretty much been able to win in almost every era there, and so they're one of the blue bloods, the premier colleges, and this going up against one of the top defenses in all of the nation there, allowing only 135 passing yards there to Drew Allar, which in a playoff game there and a neutral crowd is absolutely crazy. This guy threw for 3,000 yards this year. The fact that this guy only had 135 yards, didn't even complete a pass to a wide receiver, Justin. That is beyond sensational, and you got to give credit to that Notre Dame defense there. 14-1. I know you guys in A&M were able to play them this year.
We did.
It was a very tight game. I think they only allowed 6 points. Obviously, A&M was a great scoring offense this year, and so it's very interesting now, Justin, because you want to know something. You're facing the best offense in the nation. Literally, look at this lineup. Okay, for the Ohio State Buckeyes, you got Will Howard at quarterback, not bad, but this receiving crew, you got Jeremiah Love, you got Ibuka there, and those running backs with Henderson and Judkins. That is one of the best 1-2 punches in all of the nation there. Literally, it is the best, I think, in my opinion. There, Henderson is more of the speedy back, as where Judkins can kind of just do it all. He can receive it out of the backfield. Not to mention, I'm a video game guy. Judkins, I believe, was the highest rated running back in college football 25 when it got released. So just a little fact out there for my gamers. And so, literally, Jeremiah Love, he didn't have that much of a great game. You got to give credit to the Longhorns defense. Offensively, the Longhorns gave it up. Obviously, with Sawyer and that fumble recovery touchdown, which swung the game completely. And so, has Texas scores that touchdown, they can go to overtime potentially. It's a 21-21 game. Jeremiah could have probably done something, but this is the game I believe that we all kind of need. The best defense versus the best offense. Two head coaches wanting to prove something, haven't won a natty there in some time. And, I remember the last time I saw Notre Dame in a national championship, they got absolutely mollywopped to Alabama. The last time we saw Ohio State in a national championship, mollywopped by Alabama. So two teams now that don't have Saban in their way. And so, Justin, this is going to be a great game. I am all eyes when it's Notre Dame's defense versus Ohio State's offense. Like, that's the X factor, the ultimate X factor. I don't care about Notre Dame's offense. I don't care about Ohio State's defense. It all comes down to Notre Dame's defense and Ohio State's offense. What a matchup this is going to be to end the season.
Yeah, and isn't it crazy that a Kansas State transfer or a Duke transfer is going to be leading a championship team? Like, that is crazy to think about. They both are deservingly have had great seasons. And Riley Leonard has been super great. He can run the ball. The crazy stat that I just looked up, though, is that Notre Dame hasn't beaten Ohio State in almost 100 years, in 91 years to be exact. 1936 was the last time that they beat the Buckeyes. Obviously, there was a long period where they didn't play each other. If you look at super recent memory, 1995, the Ohio State Buckeyes have won 6 straight. And so that, I think, in and of itself is pointing towards Ohio State. And I think the fact, too, that they've just been criticized. Ryan Day was like, can he actually get it done? I think this is his moment. And I think Marcus Freeman, there's a possibility he could be heading to the NFL. There's a lot of rumors around that, so maybe there's things that are plaguing this team, and he might be on the way out. But what's up?
Man, I think that these head coaches should just stay put where they're at the moment. I think that with Marcus Freeman, he has made Notre Dame a little bit more likable. Historically, since I've started watching college football, Notre Dame's been viewed more of like the most obnoxious college fan base, team, coach when they were, led by Brian Kelly there a few years ago before he left for LSU. They were always kind of that stuck up team. They walk around with the gold helmets. They're not in a conference. They claim themselves to be independent. They kind of choose who they want to play. So, they've always been viewed at that as that college. And I think that Marcus Freeman, he's a pretty good head coach. I do think that he'd be pretty neat on the Bears there,
Yeah.
working with Caleb. But the thing is that Marcus Freeman is a very young head coach. Hasn't proven all too much, but he has his team in the Natty there. So it does make it interesting to see what what could happen. But you mentioned the transfer quarterbacks. It's very interesting how these are two quarterbacks that we were not talking about before the year, right? We were talking about Ewers and Manning. We were talking about Shador. We were talking about Cam Moore, this guy at Miami. We were talking about maybe Oregon has something with this Dylan Gabriel guy, and so we're really thinking about Will Howard and Riley here, and that's what makes this season a lot more special than many previous college football seasons, as to where we kind of knew back then, Clemson's going to win it this year. Oh, Alabama's going to win it this year. Midway in 2019, this LSU team, they're going to take it all the way. They got this guy in Burrow. And so this is one of the more unpredictable, seasons we had. Not to mention, Justin, this time last month, we were down on Ohio State. They had just lost to Michigan, and they weren't even eligible to make the Big Ten title game. And so, and they had that really kind of weird loss to Oregon by 1 point, but then they go out and they beat Tennessee. And we're like, okay. And then they just absolutely walked down Oregon. It was over by the first half.
Oh, yeah.
And then their defense from the jump against Texas was ferocious. Obviously, at the end, it kind of sealed the deal there. This Ohio State team feels it's destined. It feels meant to be. And I don't know there. I'm really concerned that Notre Dame doesn't have the playmakers offensively to keep up with Ohio State.
And through all of this, I really want to get your take. We'll end the episode with score predictions. Who will be crowned, and who do you think will be like the player of the game?
Right. Well, I wanted to say Will Howard. However, I think he's dealing with a little bit of a hand injury. I think I don't know if you watched, but the commentators are describing it as big as a golf ball there. So I'm not know if they were able to drain it. I don't know. I'm not a medical professional. I'm not sure. So I do think that this is going to be actually led to the running backs there. Both running backs had great games for Ohio State. I am picking Ohio State to win. I'm picking them to win, Justin, 38-21. Yes, I know. A 17-point victory against the best defense in the league. I just think that the Notre Dame offense isn't going to be able to do much. And this defense for Ohio State is absolutely hot. They're playing hot right now, even if they allowed 32 to Oregon earlier in the year before the playoff game. Even if they lost to Michigan, that wasn't really good. This team, they saw Michigan win it all last year, and they were like, damn, that's our rivals. We need to go win it next year. And I think this is their year. Ryan Day, he's been the head coach for Ohio State since Urban Meyer left about, 5 or 6 years ago. All right. What was it? I think it was about 3 or 4 years ago when he left for Jacksonville, or maybe I think he retired, actually.
Right.
But, Ryan Day, he's been knocking on the door there, and I think this is his time. He's been in the college football playoff multiple times, even outside of that natty run that he had against Alabama. And so I think it's just time. Marcus Freeman, he's a young cat. Notre Dame doesn't have too many playmakers on the offensive side outside of Jeremiah.
Jeremiah Smith.
Jeremiah Smith. I knew I was. But it's just I feel like Notre Dame, they don't have much playmakers. So give me 31 or 28, 38-21. Not to mention the last time Ohio State won a title, it was behind a running back in Ezekiel Elliott. So I think this time it's going to be Judkins or Henderson. But I do like the receiver though, and Smith to have a great game. He could potentially win the MVP as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Ohio State too. I think this is kind of a similar story to last year, weirdly enough, where Michigan and Jim Harbaugh was a team where they're like, can Harbaugh really pull it off? They had like 4 or 5 years where they were good, but then they fall off, and we're like, is Harbaugh good enough to really win that title? And then they make it natty where they play a team that got a star coach in the making, and Kalen DeBoer in Washington. And will they pull it off? And then that big team, they pull off the victory. Now we got the same story. Marcus Freeman has really now become a star head coach in college football, and it's against a Big Ten team where Ryan Day has been questioned by a lot of people. Can he really pull it off? And I think he will pull it off. And I think this defense is going to show out more than what we think.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have that the Ohio State Buckeyes will win 27-17. And I'm gonna go with Jeremiah Smith. I think this is a calling out party. He's already been such a stud, but now he kind of is going to establish himself as the best wide receiver in college football as a freshman. So I think that this is Ohio State's game. We both are agreeing that the Buckeyes are going to win, but we're going to see what happens on Monday. So thank you guys for listening. If you got betting odds or you're interested in making bets, listen here or ask us questions. We're happy to help. But thank you all for listening. And Genoa, send us out.
Yo, Dwayne Nation, this was our national champions prediction for college football. This is the end. This is the last game for a while there until we talk about college football at the end of August. Justin here is a Texas A&M fan. I am a Longhorn fan, so we'll possibly get into some of that. But the next time we really talk about college football is really the players that will be headed to the draft there. But don't worry, we'll get into some college football. We do have a lot of NFL stuff. Be tuned because here in a little bit, Justin and I are actually going to be getting into some basketball.
Yeah,
Not too far. Yeah, college hoops as well. And so thank you guys for watching. We're sorry for the little bit of a break, but we're now back. It's the top of the year now. New year, new us. But thank you guys for watching. We love you guys. And let us know who you guys think is going to win the Natty. I mean, this is still an unpredictable game. And we love you guys. And as always,
peace.